It's time for our closing keynote, and we have a very special guest here today to be a part of the final discussion. I'm very excited to do the introduction of our closing keynote, introduce one of our students here at Marquette who also happens to be a student athlete, Stevie Mitchell. So Stevie is a junior finance and information systems double major here at Marquette University. He is a member and a starter of the men's basketball team, which, as all of you know, made it to the NCAA Sweet 16 this year. What some people know, but more should know, is Stevie is also the fourth academic All-American in Marquette history. We're going to count you before OSO, so hopefully you can tell him we said that, right? Yeah. And he's also a current student in Real 4002, which is a real estate finance class with Professor Vito Taphorn. Please join me in welcoming Stevie to the stage.
I thought there was one more step right there. But like Andy said, I'm Stevie Mitchell, and I just want to thank the real estate team for inviting me to be here today. I'm a current member in real estate finance, taught by Vito, and it's been great. It's been a great experience, learning about the business of finance or business of real estate, and the calculations, concepts, formulas, all that good stuff. But even outside of that, I think the coolest thing that I've noticed while I've been in the class and been around Andy, Vito, is the similarities that the real estate program has with, our culture and our foundations. For basketball, our core values are growth or relationships, growth, and victory. And I feel like just being around everybody, in the program, I've been able to see a lot of similarities with that, in relationships, just only, being around it for one semester, but already knowing, Vito and Andy and, talking to them before class every day and actually getting to know them on a deeper level than, any grade or any test or homework assignment. And then growth, I think, just learning about the real estate business and becoming, understanding it more, and not only, the calculations and the simple stuff, but, then bringing in special guest speakers. We actually had one yesterday, and just getting to learn how it works in the real world is really cool as well. And it just shows how much they care about not only, us doing well here while we're here and getting good grades while we're here, but our future as well and where we're going to go from here. And then victory, I think the success of the program over, since it's been established, speaks for itself. I think that's victory in my eyes, and as well as just like, having real relationships. I've gotten to know classmates, and I think, when the success matches up with relationships established that will, live the rest of your, will be there for the rest of your life, I think that's what real victory is, and I think that's what, the real estate program embodies. So I'm just grateful, even though I'm not majoring in real estate, to have got a little experience being a part of the program. And I just want to thank everybody for being here today and for your support for students like myself and, all my peers that are here as well. Thank you. Oh, welcome. So now I would like to welcome the one and only Coach Smart.
We like curveballs, so we're going to throw you guys a little curveball. Instead of me speaking up here, Steve and I are going to have a conversation. Trust me, it'll be more interesting.
How's everybody doing today? We're really excited to be here. It's been about a month since our season got done. It's also 6 months and 4 days until our next game. Not that anybody's counting. And so they asked me to speak up here today, but I thought it'd be better if we had a little conversation, because this guy right here, I don't care what his major is, you want him in your company. You want him on your team. You want him at your university. And we have him here at Marquette for one more year. So let's take advantage of that. So thank you to Perry and Sheila Veith. What an unbelievable gift, what an unbelievable investment in this university. And I love what Kimo said. It's going to endure until the end of time. And that's a whole lot different than just something that's short term. So thank you for that. I also want to recognize Stevie and my guy, James Francis. Stand up, James. So James is one of our managers, all right? And yeah, give him a round of applause. Okay. So James is majoring in real estate. He's a junior. Stay standing, James. So, because whenever I get a chance, I love talking about our guys. So when James got here to Marquette, he looked like he was 10 years old, literally. And he's become a man, which is what you're supposed to do when you go to college. And obviously there's a lot that goes into that in the classroom and beyond. And now he's turned into someone that, again, like Stevie, is going to be an unbelievable representative of Marquette, and he's someone that you want in your organization. So remember this name, James Francis, and if you want to hire him for an internship or have him come meet with your group, then contact us in the men's basketball office, and we can make that happen. How's that for a plug, James? So Stevie literally didn't know this. He just thought he was introducing me. We're going to flip this around. Instead of me answering questions, you're going to answer the question. And then maybe I can elaborate a little bit if needed. So one of our core values is relationships. And one of the reasons that our team has done well is because of the way you and your teammates feel about each other, first and foremost. How does that apply to the business world? And I know you just started taking class in real estate, but how does it apply to real estate as well?
Well, this is actually a lot more comfortable than, speaking on the mic. So I think that just being around and learning, real estate involves a lot of, calling people, getting to know people, getting people to be on the same page with you. And, that's a lot easier, I feel like, when you are a good person and when you can get along with people and, build real relationships. And whether you go to them for advice, a deal, anything like that, I think that is a huge part. And then just, learning, I think being in this class, I think, being around Vito, Andy, Hayden, we're in class, classmates, just being around each other and getting to know and bounce ideas off each other, I think really helps you grow. Because just even talking to Hayden yesterday, I was able to start, thinking in a different way that I wasn't thinking before. And that's because, we got to know each other from having class together.
Really good. So one of the things that we promote on our team is this concept of Ubuntu, which some of you may have heard before because Doc Rivers popularized it many, many years ago when he was a coach of the Celtics. And basically what it means is people are people through other people. And that's exactly what Stevie's getting at. I have something to admit to you all. I hate agents. Okay, so I've had to amend my thinking because I used to put real estate agents in that category. But one of the things I've realized over time is agents are people too. And the good ones, just like coaches, professors, deans, presidents, they do their job because they want to help people. They want to make people better. They want to improve their lives. So in that way, they're no different than the rest of us. And we have a lot of respect for Dean Hanley and the folks in the entire School of Business because there's an incredible amount of carryover. And the people that are good in that line, that walk of life, that they have the same qualities as the people that are good in sports. Okay, Stevie, next question. How would you describe servant leadership?
I would describe it as, putting other people's best interest first and doing whatever it takes to not only benefit yourself, but benefit others. And I think when you benefit others and help others, you in turn will accidentally, open up an opportunity for yourself. Or like I said, just when you do something for somebody, they're going to appreciate you for that. And that's not the reason you should do it for them. But I think when you build those relationships through doing good by others, I think, that at the end of the day will come back to you in a good way. I think good comes to good. And I think just, servant leadership, just putting others first and just trusting and believing in doing the right thing all the time.
Pretty good for right off the cuff not knowing the question, huh? So I would just add a couple things. Number one, our definition of leadership is very simple. It's making others better. If you make others better, you're a leader. If you don't make others better, then you're not a leader. The reason I like that definition is because it doesn't restrict leadership to someone with a fancy title like head coach or captain or senior. A freshman in college can come in here on his very first day and be a leader by making people around him better. And so for us, we promote that with our guys. Stevie Mitchell has his own unique style of leadership. It would not be realistic to ask David Joplin to lead in the exact same way as Stevie Mitchell. We have two phenomenal leaders that are graduating and moving on to the NBA. We're really, really proud of them. Tyler Kolek and Oso Ighodaro. Those guys were great leaders, and as they move forward, these guys don't have to be just like them. They just have to be the best version of their own selves, and that's what we're going to go after every single day. The servant part, I think, is more and more rare, as you all would probably agree. We live in a world where, for a variety of reasons, a lot of what's reflected on the individual gets promoted. But Stevie makes a great point. The more that you make people around you better, the more that it positively reflects on you and your organization. And I think there's a lot of great examples of that in this room. Dr. Lovell is a great example of that. I think that's part of why this university is where it is. Kimo mentioned on the wall, excellence, faith, leadership, and service. Every school has something up on the wall. Every business has something up on the wall. But not every organization has a leader at the very top, like we do in Dr. Lovell, that actually embodies those traits and those qualities. I think that's something, whenever I'm talking to recruits, that's something that makes us different. Talk about be the difference. That's be the difference compared to other places where I've been. Okay, Stevie, last one. Building and maintaining a culture. How do you go about doing that?
I think the first and foremost, most important thing is to whatever culture, like you were just talking about, you want to implement to, if you're the leader or the person up top or whatever, to embody that yourself. And I think, that's what you do a really great job of. It's like an automatic role model that each and every one of us has when we, step foot on campus. And then another thing I think you also really take pride in is bringing in the right people. I think it's hard, once you get to a certain age, you can be set in your own ways. Some people can change, but I think if you bring in the right people and don't really have to worry about changing them and just allowing them to follow the culture you have implemented already and just kind of express it in their own way, because everybody's unique, I think that's another big part of it. Because if you bring in the wrong people, it only could take one person to ruin everything that you've built. So I think just getting to know people and being around the right people is the first or the next most important thing after, embodying it yourself and being about what you talk about.
Wow, man. Again, so I don't have much to add to that. I will say this. Our culture is how we act, interact, and respond. We have a 26-page culture document that we use and we teach off of and we reflect back on. And after games, wins or losses, we'll look at a principle on there and we'll try to evaluate how we did. But at the end of the day, it's how we act, how we interact, and how we respond. And in what we do, what Stevie's out there trying to do, it's really, really, really hard. So the response part is as important as everything, because you're going to get knocked down. You're going to have times where you're questioning yourself, you're questioning the circumstances, but as we say, we try to be We try to rise above the circumstances. There's three things that go into building and sustaining culture. In my opinion, Stevie hit on the first one. It's who you add and subtract from your organization. That's 90% of culture. You know, a friend of mine who's an NBA coach, he said, and the NBA is unique up there because there's a very, very, very few amount of people that have the physical abilities to play at that level. He says culture is the people in your room. That's it. It's the people in your room. And I think, again, that's about 90%. Who you add, just as importantly, who you subtract. And I know that might sound negative, but the reality is if you want an unselfish culture and you have a selfish person in the room, then either they have to change or they have to leave. Otherwise, you won't have an unselfish culture. And the same thing goes for any other quality that you want to promote. The second part of building and sustaining culture is what you promote. So if you want energy, then to Stevie's point, you have to set the example, but then you also have to promote it, reward it, reinforce it every single day. Not every other day, not once a week, every single day. What do you promote? What are you about? And is that a consistent message, especially when you're dealing with young people? Because they're going to be able to see the holes in something if you're not consistent. And then the third thing, and I think this is probably the difference between so-so cultures and great cultures, is what you tolerate. And the reality is, like, if we have a meeting with our team and 5 or 6 guys walk in late and we tolerate that, we accept that, then we have a late culture. That's how we act. We show up late. It's not good. So that's not tolerated, is it, Stevie?
Nah, not at all.
At the same time, I will say this, you know, we are coaching, you are managing. Those of you that are leaders and managers on the business side, on the real estate side, human beings who are imperfect, as are we as leaders. And so that's the nuance of it. That's the art as compared to the science of developing culture. Is you can have whatever you want on the wall or in a booklet, but you're dealing with this guy. It might be different than dealing with this one over here, and you can't treat everyone the same. And so just want to say thank you for everyone being here. Thanks for listening to us. Hopefully this was more entertaining than just getting me up here speaking by myself. I think, again, the interaction between Stevie and I and all the rest of the members of our program and Marquette University as a whole is what makes it special. Our program isn't special because of one person or what one person does. Marquette University isn't either. It's because of the interaction. And again, as Dean Hanley said, this room is an example of that, an embodiment of that. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of the day.